All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive into chapter 1 for lines today. So as you guys take a look, we have a few goals. We're going to use slope-intercept form and point-slope form for linear equations. And then we're going to define and find equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay? If you guys are following along with the notes, I have a warm-up here that we are going to bypass. We're going to jump right into the good stuff. All right? So first things first. Anytime I have 2 points and I want to find the slope, I use my slope formula. You guys have seen this before in algebra. You've seen it in geometry, algebra 2. This is like the 4th time you've seen this. Slope is m. Why? I have no idea. And you guys should remember the picnic table, right? We need 4 legs for the picnic table, so the x's go on the bottom. And then some people say wine glasses. Mr. Gotsch is cooler. I say margarita glasses. And you got to be 21 to drink. 21. You know, a bracket in the middle. So that's a subtraction sign. So the formula is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Okay? So again, how much you go up or down, that's your rise. And then x's are side to side, so that's your run. So rise over run. Okay. From there, if I have 2 points, I can find the slope. And then once I have a point and the slope, I can plug it into point slope. So I'm going to do this one way over here. Point slope is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. So y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Point slope is awesome because all I need is a point and slope. Once I have point and slope, then I can manipulate it and put it into slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form always looks like this: y equals mx plus b. M we know is our slope. And we know B is our y-intercept. Okay. We'll talk about graphing lines here on the second page, so we'll dive into that. Last but not least is standard form. Standard form we don't spend a whole lot of time on because standard form is good for nothing. No, it's good for something. It's good for finding x and y-intercepts. You guys can use the cover-up method. If you plug in 0, you can find the y-intercept. If you plug in the 0 there, you can find the x-intercept. So ax plus by equals c is the standard form of a line. Normally, for perfect standard form, a is positive, okay? The textbook uses the word general form for lines. That's saying that they don't care if a is positive or negative. They use the word standard form if it's positive, general form if it's negative. I just say, hey, make it positive. If that was a negative, just divide it over and you're fine. The other thing is A, B, and C are nice, pretty numbers. They're integers. So nice, pretty integers. So A, B, and C, that says integers there. Now again, quiz or test, you're going to want these formulas. So if it was me, I'd be taking notes. All right, let's dive in. Example 1 says, calculate the slope for each of the ordered pairs. So I have 4 examples. I'm going to walk you through 2 of these, and then I'm just going to give you the answers for the other 2. So I have a coordinate point, -2, 3. So I'm going to mark this x1, y1. And then I have our coordinate point 4, 7. So I'm going to mark that x2, y2. And then I'm going to use my picnic table, margarita glasses. So I get x2 minus x1 on the bottom, and then y2 minus y1 on top. Then I throw those in. So I've got 7 minus 3. And on the bottom, I've got x2 minus x1. I have 4 minus a -2. And anytime I subtract a negative, we all know that's a positive thing, right? We had somebody very negative in this class right now on Zoom. I would just press delete and we would remove them and everybody would be happy and positive about that. Real world stuff, guys. Oh my gosh. Here we go. 7 minus 3 we know is 4. And 4 plus 2 we know is 6. Now, quiz or test, if you leave it like this and it asks for simplified, you're going to lose points. If it was me on a test, I would just write R on it and you lose half of a point. But it's COVID. My math lab's grading it. You're going to lose half of a point out of 1. Reduce, simplify, you should get 2/3 positive. So positive 2/3. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have any questions with that one? How easy is that one? No questions. Mr. Gotsch, I've done this since algebra. This is easy. Let's move on. All right. Let's do it. I do it again. I'll write the formula one more time. This is how I normally write it. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. No fancy margarita glasses there. Okay. So we set it up. I've got, this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. Coordinate point xy. And I set it up. I got 7 minus 3 again. And then x2 minus x1 is negative 2 minus a negative 2 is plus 2. Well, that's 4 divided by 0. So if you don't know what 4 divided by 0 is, then we got to ask Siri. Ask Siri what's 4 divided by 0, and you guys would say what? If you're not sure, ask Siri. What does Siri say? What is 4 divided by 0? Devin, Denton, Emily, Riley, anybody got it? No idea. Come on, Devin, you know what it is. No solution. It's undefined. You can't take 4 candy bars and divide it into 0 friends because you're a nerd. You have no friends. You have 0 friends. No, I'm kidding. But you can't do that. It is undefined slope. So that one is undefined slope. So you can't divide something by 0. It's not possible. All right. So that's pretty easy. I'm going to fly through this one. Y2 minus y1 is 3 minus 3, and 4 plus 2, that is 0 over 6. And 0 divided by anything is 0. Call that 0 slope. And again, I'm just flying through these, just saving you guys some time. I got negative 6 minus 3. I've got 4 plus 2 is negative 9 over 6. And that simplifies to negative 3 over 2. Okay? Now, the reason why I want to do 4 of these because there's 4 different types of slopes. There are 4 different lines here. Okay? We have a positive slope. When this guy is positive, it's going to look like this, up to the right. And then we have his buddy, that's negative slope. That is going down to the right. So know the difference between positive slope and negative slope. Positive goes up, negative goes down, and they always go to the right. Okay, next is undefined slope. Undefined slope is a vertical line. Looks like this. Remember rise over run? This has rise but no run. This has rise but no run. So it goes up and down but not side to side. This one has no rise but it has some run. So this one is a horizontal line. Remember, horizontal is like the horizon, goes side to side. Okay? Now, I always remember these two specifically because you get these two mixed up. Okay? And I've taught this a bunch of times, and this is what helps my kiddos. The alphabet. You guys know the alphabet. U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. U, V, W, X, Y, Z. You guys know the end of the alphabet. Well, anytime I have zero slope is a horizontal line. And horizontal lines are y equals lines. It's going to be y equals 5 or y equals -2 or what have you. So horizontal has zero slope. It's fun to say. Horizontal has zero slope. They both have z's in them. Okay? And z is right next to y. That's a y equals number line. Y equals 5, y equals 2, y equals -3. Okay? Now on the other side are the x equals. Okay? Get rid of w. You don't need that guy. Undefined. U is for undefined slope. UND is undefined. And that is a vertical line. Vert for short. So UV, undefined. That's an N and a D. And all put together. UND is undefined slope, and that's vert. As I'm running out of room, vertical. I'll write it again on the next page. So x equals are going up and down. That it's a vertical line. It has undefined slope. Horizontal has zero slope. That's a y equals. Z is right next to y. That's how I memorize that. Okay? So little tricks that I've learned over time. This is the one. YZ. I know YZ. Horizontal has zero slope. All right, let's do this, huh? So some of the things you got to be able to do is graph. So I take a look when I'm graphing, I got my point. I got a point, -2, 3. So on my math lab, you're going to plot that point at -2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. -2, 3 is in quadrant 2. Then I'm going to do my slope. Remember, slope, think of fraction. Think rise over run. I'm going to go up 3 and over to the right 1. So from my point, I go up 1, 2, 3, over 1. Man, that's fun. Rise over run. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, over 1. You can also go down and to the left. Down is negative, to left is negative. So negative and a negative makes it a positive. Down 3 over 1. Now, this is where 2 points determine a line. You guys only really need 2 points. So plot that 1 point and then plot the point from the slope, and you should be able to graph that, especially on my math lab. I have a pretty easy tool for you guys to graph. So we're getting that done. And there we go. Before I circle and move on to the next question, that definitely has positive slope. That's going up to the right. And now I'm ready to move on. All right, Emily, you got that? I can't see you, some of you guys. Shayla, you good? I see Jackson's head there, so that's good. All right, let's do the next one. You guys aren't saying anything. I'm guessing I'm doing all right. Can I get a thumb? Give me a thumb here. Are we doing all right? You're like, gosh, Mr. Gotsch, this is so easy. All right. I'm getting thumbs back. So here we go. I got an equation y equals 1/2 x minus 4. So again, y equals mx plus b. We need to know our slope and our y-intercept. My slope. What do we got? Sarah, what's your slope here? Sarah, what's the slope of that one?
1/2.
You're the best. And then B, my y-intercept. Trey, what's my y-intercept, bud? Awesome. Okay. So you guys did great. Now, when we're graphing, here's the x and y axis, right? If I put a little hump down here, doesn't that look like the B? So we put our pencil on the B. We make a little dot on the B, the up and down axis. So in this case, we go down 1, 2, 3 to the 4. Boom. We put our pencil on the B. It's not hard, you see. Man, we're having fun. Now it's time for Rise over run. And then we go. We will graph you. We will graph you. Yeah, all right. So I put my pencil on the B. It's not hard to see. Man, we're having fun. Now it's time for rise over run. Sarah says that's 1 over 2. So up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Boom. Okay. That's definitely positive slope, so I can connect the dots. Yeah, buddy. Connect the dots here. That's perfect. All right, all right. Next, I've got 2 different equations here. These are those special ones I just talked about. I have y equals 4, I have x equals negative 4. This goes back to u, v, w, x, y, and z. If I have a y equals, that's this side. 0 slope, horizontal. That's going across, so I count. On the y-axis, 1, 2, 3 to the 4, and now I just have my straight line going across. That's at the line y equals 4. Okay, every point, 0, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4. Every single point on that graph has the same y value. And then this one right here is an x equals. That's what I'm talking about over here. Vertical, undefined slope. U, v, don't need the w. It's an x equals line. So I count on the x-axis. 1, 2, 3 to the 4 to the left. And it's just a vertical line up and down through that point. And every point on that line has negative 4 as its x value. Negative 4 is 0, negative 4, 1, negative 4, 2, negative 4, 3, negative 4, 4, dot, dot, dot. Okay. So there you go. You got examples of horizontal and vertical lines there. Like Mr. Gotsch, just graphing things so easy. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's finish up with lines in algebra. Any questions with the graphing before I move on? Can I get a thumb? I'm looking at my gallery here. Can I get a thumb? I'm getting thumbs. Mr. Gotch, this is too easy. All right. Let's giddy up. So now we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. So first thing, parallel lines. Let's say that line has a slope of 2/3. What do you guys know about a line that is parallel to that? Parallel again means it never touches, never crosses, never intersects. What do you guys know about its slope? If this guy's slope is 2/3, what's the slope of this parallel line? Notice I'm using 2 little marks right next to each other. That signifies parallel. What's that? Also 2/3. Very good. So parallel lines, we should know from geom, same slope. So the other one that we've talked about is perpendicular. Perpendicular lines. So if I have that same line that is 2/3, then I have a line that's perpendicular to that. Perpendicular means they intersect in one spot, and it creates a 90-degree angle. So the slope that's perpendicular, denoted with an upside down T, is what? If that slope is 2/3, what's perpendicular slope to 2/3? Do you guys remember from geometry class? Yeah, so -3/2. Very good. You guys are great. So perpendicular lines, we talk about opposite, reciprocal slope. That says opposite reciprocal, or what I say is the old flip and switch. Yeah, Mr. Slattery, we say the same stuff. Good old Slats. I miss that guy. I hardly see him anymore. He's my favorite math teachers. Anybody have Slattery out there? Slats? No? Oh, man. So the old flip and switch, we flip the fraction. So 2/3 is now 3/2. And we switch from a positive to a negative or a negative to a positive. Okay? That's if it's perpendicular. So I take a look and I have a point that goes through -3, 2, and it's parallel to y equals 3x minus 5. Now again, this is in form of y equals mx plus b. We know our m value is 3. Well, they want parallel. So slope that's parallel to that is same slope. We know that's 3 as well. So I have my slope. I've got my point. They said -3, 2. And now I'm going to plug that into point slope. So good old point slope is this guy. Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. So we got good old point slope. So we got point slope. We plug in our slope. We plug in our point, hence the name point slope. This is my x1. This is my y1. So let's plug it in, plug it in. I got y minus 2 equals m, which is 3, and then x minus a -3 is plus 3. Uh-oh, we just lost somebody. Any questions on that so far? Now, the reason why I use point slope, point slop, Mr. Gotsch, you're a knucklehead. It's point slope, not point slop. No Snickers, okay. The reason why I use this is because this is what your calculus teacher uses. They use point slope all of the time. So you guys should get used to using this also if you haven't used it before. The other thing, point slope is so easy. It requires 2 steps. The distributive property, y minus 2 equals 3x plus 9, and then addition or subtraction over so that we can get that slope-intercept form, so it's 3x plus 11. So final answer, this is an example of a line that has that same slope that goes through that point. Boom. Done with that one. All right. Easy, Mr. Gotch. I can do that, no problem. Any questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace here. You guys are married to point slope and slope intercept now. All right. I'm going to skip over that one. I got a couple more I want to show you. X and Y intercepts. We talked about X intercepts are when Y equals 0. So when they tell you that you have an X intercept of 3, then you know that's a coordinate point 3, 0. And vice versa, a y-intercept is when x equals 0. So you know when you have a y-intercept of -2, that is 0, -2. Well, if I'm using point slope, I need a point and I need slope. So I stop and I go, wait a second, I don't have slope. I've got 2 points, but I don't have slope. This is where you need to know. We use our slope formula. So write the little picnic table and margarita glasses. You got to be 21 to drink. Y2 minus Y1 all over X2 minus X1. And then we plug in chug. So we take those guys. I'll go ahead and mark that for people who want to see it one more time. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Plug those guys in. I got -2 minus 0 is -2. And then I've got 0 minus 3 is -3. So the slope I'm going to be using, I've got m is +2/3. Okay? So far, so good. So if you're going through the process and you know what you're doing, you're coming up with slope-intercept, and you see that you got m and you got your y-intercept, you can go right into slope-intercept. But let's say I didn't see that, then I'm just going to use either one of these points. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use that 3, 0, and I'm going to plug it into point slope. So if you didn't notice you had your y-intercept, well, point slope will never fail you. Plug that in. I've got y minus 0 equals 2/3 x minus x1, x minus 3. Y minus 0 is y. And then distribute. 2/3 times x is 2/3 x. 2/3 times -3. Positive times a negative is a negative. And then if you need to, go off to the side. The 3's cancel, leaves you with -2. So final answer, that is the same y-intercept. So if you knew you had the slope and y-intercept, you could just go right to this step. Okay? But if you didn't know that, well, you always have point slope. Point slope is your friend. Might as well use it. All right, so anytime we're given 2 points, well, we got to find slope. That's why it's called point slope. We need point and a slope to go further. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, I have one more example. This should, again, all be reviewed. You guys seen this in algebra. You've seen this in geometry. You saw this in algebra 2. This is the last and hardest of everything. If you think this one, number 12, is easy, then you're going to be fine with this chapter. Okay? So they have a point, 1, 6, and it's perpendicular to this guy. Okay? Well, this guy is in standard form. We want to put this one into slope-intercept so we can pick out its slope. And again, remember, we want perpendicular. We want the opposite reciprocal, flip and switch. So what do we got to do here? This is why I open it up. You guys, we go as fast as you guys turn on your mics and answer the questions. How do I put this into slope-intercept form is my question. So the faster you guys answer that question, the faster we can move on to solving it. What do we do first? How do we put this into slope-intercept?
Subtract x from both sides.
Awesome. Nice work. Subtract x. So now I've got 2y equals -x minus 14. I got one more step. Last thing we got to do.
Divide by 2.
Awesome. You guys are great. So -x over 2 is -1/2 x. And -14 divided by 2 is -7. Okay? The reason I did that so I can pick out his slope. His slope is -1/2, but that is not the slope I want. The slope that I want is perpendicular slope. So we need to flip that guy, we need to switch that guy. So take -1/2, flip it, 2/1, positive or just 2. Okay? Now, all that work I did over here, you don't need. We're done with that. We got what we want from it. And now we're ready to take the slope. So we have a slope of 2, and we have our point. And we do the same thing. If I have a point and a slope, I use point slope. Hence its name. It's a beautiful thing, right? English class, nouns, verbs, who cares, right? Math, yeah? That's the important class, right? Just kidding. Don't tell Mr. Chandler or Mr. Neff I said that. I'll get in trouble. So I've got y minus 6 equals 2 times x minus 1. Nice thing about point slope, once you have it set up, it's so easy to use. You distribute. You get 2x minus 2. And then we add or subtract over. Final answer, we get y equals 2x plus 4. So negative 2 plus 6 is 4. Okay. This is again in slope-intercept form. Quiz or test, that's fine for me. Okay. I think I'm pretty much 99% sure that that's all I asked for on my math lab. But if you ever see one that says put it into standard form, then the only thing I would have to do is subtract that over. I would get 2x plus y equals 4. And then I could divide everything by negative. And that would be 2x minus y equals negative 4. Okay, so if they ask for standard form, I'm 99% sure that I have that taken off. Standard form I don't love. I prefer this form because it's really nice to graph, easy to graph. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, chapter 1.4 is done. Do you guys have any questions from me?